Gary is a fascinating place. It's a place where there used to be really strong communities. There was a high school in every neighborhood. There was a middle school in every neighborhood. There were elementary schools in every neighborhood. But now, as you drive through Gary, you can see the schools are closed. The buildings are vacant. The population has changed. So many people that I grew up with don't live here anymore.
I moved around a lot as a kid. You know, the question you get, like, where are you from? I never had an answer to that question, and I never felt like I had roots or connection to a place. So I joined Teach for America, but was still, 22 and naive, and my first school was in Gary, Indiana, where I thought at that time, like, I didn't want to go. Ended up being the first corps member that was ever placed here in all of Teach for America, and kind of came, honestly, kicking and screaming.
What are the people in Gary like? Woo. From a guy who was an outsider that came in, here is what I found out. They're not pushovers. And once you become a resident here, what you thought you knew, you find out was totally off base. You know that if you could look past the abandoned buildings and see the potential, Gary is what it was once called, I think it was called the city of the century. It's still that. It just has blight, and you see kind of a glimmer in people's eye that says we really want to get back to those days.
And after years and years of searching for home, Gary is the first place like I ever felt connected to as a community, and connected to a group of people aligned on the same values that are like deep in my soul. And I knew pretty quickly that this was my place, this was my home.
I think that there is hope for the city of Gary, but it's not, the hope doesn't come from steel or from the investments that they want to make in property by the water. I think the hope lies in the children, which I think are our city's greatest resource.
I knew that that there was the potential and the conditions for like an incredible school to exist in this community. And so then the stage turned to a formalized process of like, we're gonna make this school. We're gonna make this school after 9.5 years of hearing the school that our kids and our families are wanting, we're gonna build it. And in doing that, we went through a series of, almost a year of conversations, 1,872 conversations with different stakeholders all throughout the community on our listening tour to really craft what like the collective vision is for redefining a school and ultimately a community. We were the local team that was unanimously selected to open a school here in Gary. Okay, like now we have to do this,
We started our journey to locate a high school that really supported our values. Luckily, so happened, Steel City was being created.
My friend persuaded me to go to a new school. I said, you know what, let's try new things. If we don't like it in the first year, then we'll transfer back to our old school.
And then when I put my son in, and just to see the pure joy, and I'm not even overselling this is real, just to see the pure joy, just to know he came home telling stories about his interactions with the principal, and they weren't bad, right?
Katie wants to meet you up front. She wants to get to know who you are, and building that rapport out the gate let me know that it was going to be a strong partnership.
And is there a moment that you remember where you thought, yep, we made the right decision?
First day.
We ended up liking it so much. Like, it wasn't even debatable. We didn't even talk about it. All I said was, we're going to come to state school next year. It's not even,
So the partnership for the parent came in out the gate. So that wasn't anything that flourished later. That was always the open door understanding that your concerns, your values, your needs, we need to know what they are. There's different families on different levels that needs different type of support, and you can really just kind of bring everybody in, build that community. And it's awesome to watch it nurture,
I think first and foremost, it starts with, getting collective buy-in around like our vision of what we are trying to create here. And that takes a lot of work to like build that, because we're dismantling what school has meant, what being a student has meant, what being a teacher has meant, what being a parent has meant. It's creating structures where their voice is heard and then giving them opportunities for them to advocate for what they need, what they want, and that my role as the leader is to say yes and get out of the way. And it's pretty simple.
We are very lucky to be in an environment where our administrators support whatever passions we have.
Like here, they push you to give ideas and start clubs. It's a very different experience. You know that your voice matters. And if it doesn't matter to anybody else, you know it matters to the people at Steel City Academy.
Power matters, and your voice matters, and Gary matters. I think what comes with that as well is then it's about access. The way in which we reimagine our master schedule of having 4 weeks a year completely devoted to bringing community partners in through Gear and Flame Week.
I would say that was the best time of my school year. That's when I got so interested in podcasts. And I also thought of it as this, because I was shy back then as well. I said, if this is a way to talk as I want. Now, I feel like that people want to listen to me.
After we did the cleanups, we didn't want to do a traditional board up. So what we did was we reached out to artists throughout the area and said, hey, let's paint some murals to put on a structure, something that's going to inspire. And we're doing our Artist Life program with the high school students. And the only thing we gave them was to paint, say, okay, go have fun. You know, let's see what you guys come up with. So actually some Steel City students actually did this mural for us.
We all, I think as humans, like when we find that thing that like gets us really, really passionate, then there's no limits of like what is possible. And that's what education in school should be about. You can't like be what you can't see. And so it's intentionally saying that there are assets within our community that can provide and ignite immense amount of passions and interests and pathways for our kids. And all we did was connect, provided the access to it.
We want to work with students. Our vision and goal is for young people to know where their food comes from and to then take this and go into their house or in their own neighborhood and replicate it. This is environmental justice and social justice, and so I think it just goes hand in hand with what the students are learning at their school.
We're fighting a big fight about being in a low-income community and being in a community of color and being like a dumping ground for so many different organizations. And that came to our doorstep last year.
I love this school, okay? And the last thing I need is something across the street that'll force us to leave the school. So I wanted to do something. I wanted to make change.
And that helped me find the love of activism. I never knew anything about activism. I didn't know that that was something that I would like till I actually did it and I was seeing change happen and people were actually listening to my voice. It took for them to believe in me for me to believe in myself.
Our kids have strong voices. Their health is affected when there's a waste facility right across the street. And I want to make sure that they have the resources and knowledge to be able to confront that.
Gary really wants, I would say as a city, we really want to see empowered young people, but not just empowered in a generic sense of the word, where kids have voice, they are extremely active, and they're given the ability and the power to make decisions. And so that's something that you see every day at Steel City.
Not only do I want to speak up for myself, I also want to be a shield for others. Speak up with them and inspire them to speak up for themselves. You have a whole lot of power as one person. You can make a difference by yourself, but if there's a whole community, that makes an even bigger difference.
I think it's true that it takes a village to educate, and I really wanted a school that empowered the community and made sure that they took in the community's voice. We're not taking claim for their education, they're taking their own claim for education, and I think that's beautiful.
And that's what our community was craving, right? They want to do the work, they want to like roll up their sleeves, they want to be a part of the solution, but never felt that as students, as parents, that they were a part of education or their child's lives or making the decisions around what that looked like. Our year one, our year two, and it continues to be integral, is just bringing people together in conversation and in thought partnering and in dialogue around a shared sense of identity or community. And you'll see that in every day and every space of our school. And it did not just happen organically. It was like really intentional in making sure that happened.
So like that interconnectedness and that belief that they have in what we're doing and their unwillingness to support us in what we're doing makes this location, like this environment, this organization that much stronger, that helps our kids have a network of things and resources to pull from when they leave our doors their senior year of high school.
I think the foundation of it is love. There is something about when people know that you care about them, that penetrates a place.
Our job has been, and our responsibility, I think is a better word for me, is to make sure that when you come as you are, and we accept you as you are, and we'll do our best to build you up and make you your best self, whatever that looks like for each individual kid, so we can all be our best selves every single day that we come into this building and leave this building.
I want to come here every day. If I don't go to school, I am stressed out. It's supposed to be the reverse, but it's not. I want to be here. I want to learn. I feel proud to be a student at Steel City.
And that's what leadership is to me, right? It's just setting the conditions for them to reach their greatest potential and to have the greatest impact that they can.
I was the quiet girl. I was the girl that never really spoke up for herself. I just didn't really feel any sort of confidence about myself. I didn't really feel like my voice mattered. To come here, it was definitely a mind changer.
Yeah, it has surprised me a lot. I would talk to my grandma and she's like, Adrian, I'm really proud of you. You're doing a lot. You're actually helping make a difference. And it's if I have a voice, why not use it in the right way? So now I'm even more invested in it. So I feel like I found myself when I got here.
I want our kids to know that regardless of what they do, they are able to make a difference. I want them to take the power core value with them everywhere that they go and know that if their community is going to be a better place, it's going to start with them.
Here is what Gary can be, right? And we're gonna do everything in our power to get it there. We're gonna push it there. And in the meantime, we're gonna give kids the tools to take the mantle and the baton, because we only got X number of years, right, to give it a go. So we need to equip the young people that are coming behind us to complete the work. And hopefully, and what we believe we'll see is that what that desired end is, Gary will get there.
Before Steel City Academy, I thought success was just getting out of here and becoming rich as possible. Now, when I think of success, I think of me, or not even just me, but the community of Gary coming together, fighting for what's right, and showing other people outside of Gary that we're a force to be reckoned with.
We're really intentional about ensuring that our kids are leaving with building that sense of confidence and self-awareness and self-love. That won't mean that there aren't incredibly challenging situations that they're going to have to navigate, but what they will have and that no one can take away from them is this sense of who they are and where they come from, and unapologetically feeling a sense of pride and love for what that is.